afternoon. My name is Kazmierczak, for those who don't know me, in operations, inventory management to be specific. I'm going to talk a little bit today about health savings accounts. It's not a widely used, but a very beneficial retirement planning option. So just a few links to get started. The self-service portal out on ADP. If you want to know more about this, you can go out there. There's 20 videos and pamphlets covering like how to set it up, what investment things you can use, etc., etc. And then Open Enrollment has a ton more information too on the program, and then a couple of links that you might be aware of. And there's some handouts too on this material, if you want to take a look at that or have other questions. Okay, so first off, why is it so advantageous? You get you can keep the money you put into this out of the government's hands your whole entire life, and it's never taxed. You set up a payroll withdrawal, it's not taxed. Your investment, you can put in investments and it grows, not taxed. And then if you use it for qualified medical expenses in retirement, it's not taxed when you use it either. So it goes through the whole life without being taxed at all. If you can, pay out of pocket during the year and leave the money in the HSA and let it grow. And then you can, if you save your receipts, you can reimburse yourself years down the road, as of right now. If the one thing to note, if money is used for non-qualifying health expense, it would be taxed, and if you're under 65, there's a 20% penalty on it. And then there's an extensive list of qualified reimbursements. If you go out to the self-service portal, they have a list. It's very, very extensive. Things like long-term care, transportation to and from medical things in retirement. And then right now, GIW matches $1,000 a year for individuals and $2,000 a year for the family plan.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the meetings yesterday, and it was my understanding generally with the HSA was if you had the HDHP.
Yes. Yeah, that's correct. So if you want to participate in this, you have to have the high deductible plan that you can go out this year and sign up for it if you want. I'll get into that a little bit in the next slide, but yeah, it's only the high deductible.
Question.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that I have one of the health savings account, but I've also been paying for my prescriptions just out of pocket, $20 here,
Yep.
$25 there, and hadn't been using it. How far back? You said you can go back a number of years. How far back?
I'd have to defer to Zack and from the financial advice, but what I've read is that it can go back quite a ways. Just save the receipts. I don't know exactly how long, but we can get back to you on that.
Okay. I save all my receipts.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do we set up? You need to enroll in the high deductible plan as part of the Open Enrollment. That's all coming up starting next Monday. Then you would set up withdrawals to come out of your checks every other week. And GIW will match, like I said, $1,000 or $2,000 depending on if it's a single or a family. Once you reach the investment threshold, meaning once you get $2,000 in your HSA account, you can start to take anything above $2,000 and put it in the Optum Bank, which is like another bank account, and elect different funds and index funds and growth funds and bond funds where you can grow your investments there as well. And you really got to set up one time. So every week, let's say you put $50 in and you go from $2,000 to $2,050. You can set up an automatic transfer to move that $50 into your investment account and then automatically buy the fund of your choosing with that excess money. And then you set up your investment elections, like I was saying. There you can review. I have another slide here in a minute. There's 30 of them, similar to like what you would have for your 401k if you have one of those programs. And then I did not have the cell phone app, but I actually downloaded it as part of this and was pleasantly surprised. You can kind of manage the whole thing, even reimburse yourself right from the app on the phone. So right when you get an account, if you've been to the UMR page, this is the summary on the health savings account balance. Once you get to the 2,000, you click the little button there, the Visit Optum Bank, and it'll take you over to a page that looks like this, with all kinds of navigation links to view the history, make your elections, reimburse yourself, whatever it is you want to do. And I mentioned the different investment vehicles. Like everything, like right now I would set up to a Vanguard 500 index fund, which is just like the S&P. But you can go more risky, less risky, depending on your risked appetite. And then last, just some screenshots of the app. This is from an iPhone on the left of what it looks like. Just download the app. Then you get a summary view as the next one. The third one here is just how you reimburse yourself right from the app, and then settings and all the other things you can do in there on the right. Any other things to add? There's a question when you step down. I don't know the answer to it. How far back can you reimburse yourself for expenses on the HSA?
I don't know if there's a limit now.
Okay.
You just want to make sure that it's an original receipt. You don't want to have to conjure up something. And for these plans, they're not for everybody, but the tax benefit, the triple tax benefit is hard to find, especially in the world we live in now where everything we touch seems to just be taxed on the front end and the back end. What we're starting to see is that what is allowable is being expanded all the time. Okay, and if we look at what something comparable to this would be a 529 plan, if any of you guys are using those now, they've continued to increase how you can use them, and now for 529s they're giving a Roth benefit to accounts that may not have a beneficiary in the future. There's a chance for this too, just based on how it's taxed. So wouldn't count on it. But if you are a person who doesn't go to the doctor regularly, maybe once a year, doesn't need to have, I would just say constant care, these are great programs. And there's a lot of options out there for medicine. There's a lot of concierge medicine, medical facilities now. I know we have got a great plan here, but if you had to get creative, there's a lot of local PAs that have set up really great practices that are not very expensive, that are real conducive to plans like this. So if you have questions, we do have an Optum person, right? I guess there is a contact there. That's that's the front door. She's got everybody's phone number.
I'm the front door and I have access to the back door.
Okay, and then so there you go. And then the one thing I would just say, without getting into a long discussion about long-term care, but long-term care, we're starting to see a really great need for that. That's insurance that you get to buy for yourself. Your premiums can be paid out of these accounts. That's a tax-free benefit you get in long-term care too, so maybe quadruple tax.
Medicare too. You can pay for your Medicare Part B.
B and D.
If you got a really great
Yes.
doctor, you could probably get a Peloton out of it too. So
Yeah.
there really is a lot here. But we
Baby monitors, I mean, if you're a grandparent, there's a lot you can do with the HSA.
And the HSA is, and so what I've been trying to communicate during open enrollment sessions is that the HSA is your account. So if you ever were to leave GIW, that money goes with you. The account is in your name, it's your money. An FSA account, which is what's usually tied to the PPO plan, that's a use it or lose it. And if you leave the organization prior to using it, it's not yours to take. So like Zach mentioned, if you're not one that typically goes to the doctor a lot, or you don't have any type of condition management, this would be beneficial to help you plan for your retirement.
it'd be fair to call it like a catastrophic plan in
Yeah.
a sense.
Well, I think One Digital said it great in one of our meetings. They said insurance is not, that we, the consumer, sometimes we have the misconception that insurance is there to cover everything 100%. And it's really not designed that way. It's designed to prevent financial ruin. There's always going to be a max out of pocket expense, whether you're on PPO or HDHP. You just have to
It's a different kind of
figure out what works best for you in your situation. And if you're on the HDHP because you want to put money into an HSA, just the best way to keep it in mind is that the first $3,000 of medical expenses, you have to pretend like you don't have insurance, because that will come out of your pocket for the deductible. But after that, the money that you put in here, it'll just continue to grow. And so here's what I've been telling people. GIW is moving to an employer paid LTD So whatever, if you're currently paying for LTD now, you could take that money and stick it in HSA and let it grow.
Yeah,
That's great.
I don't know if you heard the answer, but when you're going over there, but if there's no limit, we don't think, on how far back you can go. It just needs to be an original receipt.
Be transferable at death to your spouse. We learned too, so. And again, pre-tax. So we look around, taxes are going up, they're not going down. So if we want to offset the government taking more out of our paycheck, the best way to do it is to take more out before we get paid. So this, and again, we're not trying to twist your arm. It's just these are, their nuance are a little different than how we're used to doing it, but there's certainly a place for it for a lot of people.
Is there any options for if you're going with the PPO plan other than doing the FSA? I mean, like this HSA that you can carry on?
Yeah, unfortunately for PPO, the only other option is the FSA. It is a great way to tax shelter money, but I always suggest when people come to my office, I say, look, if you're going to do the FSA, you really have to calculate known expenses. So if you know what your expenses are going to be, like I know every year that my lenses only, which I have said 3 times this week, what a racket eyeglasses are. $568 for just my lenses every year. So if I were doing FSA, then I know if I put that in there, I know I'm going to spend it to pay for my glasses. The other difference between FSA and HSA, other than what we've already talked about, is FSA is front loaded on January 1. HSA is only available as it's accumulated. So there's a little difference on both plans, but you're not getting a GIW match on FSA. You're getting that on HSA, and in my opinion, I'm all about free money. So
And that's very generous. We look at a lot of plans, we work with a lot of company benefits. To get a match in your HSA, I mean, that's pretty incredible.
yeah.
This is the first time I even saw that GIW does match it.
Yeah, it's up to $1,000 for employee only, and then employee plus anything is up to $2,000. But you won't get $2,000 if you're only contributing $100. It's a dollar for dollar match every payroll. So after I run the payroll, I hit the button and then I move the same exact money that was deducted from your check from GIW to your HSA accounts. So everything usually is reflective by Friday of that pay week.